Welcome everyone to AJ's World of Bodybuilding. If you've seen part 1 or about the open, you're excited for part 2, but we ended a discussion. We don't like to end things. Nigel, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
What were you saying? You were saying Hadi Chupan is not more aesthetically pleasing than Rami, or what were you saying?
If I go on 2020 and 21, I don't think so. I think his shoulders were a little suspect. I'm not saying anything that he's done with his shoulders or anything. I've had the same problem where people, thought that my shoulders were not kind of iffy. And I just don't think his flow is as good as Rami on 20 and 21. Rami had a really great flow, especially in 2020. Now, I'm not saying that his flow isn't going to be better in 2022. He looks absolutely phenomenal in every picture I've seen, but so does Rami. I saw some good pictures of him today, and he looks like he's going to come like on par too. So if Rami comes in 2020 shape better, then there's no way aesthetically Hadi's going to beat him aesthetically.
What do you think, Samson?
Well, the main thing is this, size has to count for something. So you can't outweigh a guy by 100 pounds and then be like, well, he's more conditioned, he's filled out, he wins. And this is the whole part of the discussion where there's a reason there's 212 class, the reason why there's open class, right? That bigger frame filled out is a lot more impressive than a smaller frame filled out. So this is why the whole point they created 212 class in the first place. So when you do a show where you have someone from 212 that is basically outmassed by 100 pounds, beats everybody, then what's the point of 212 class? What's the point of actually having that much mass? Then we might as well start saying, okay, size doesn't really count for much as long as you're conditioning and you're symmetrical. That's it.
So if you look at Derek Lunsford, let's say Derek Lunsford jumps in. I'm not saying he should or that he deserves an open nod because I have serious opinions about that one. Do you think that he would be competitive in top 6?
It would be competitive. Of course, he'll be competitive. He's a Olympian. But he shouldn't win against somebody that should be as conditioned as him and almost 50 pounds heavier.
Now, I'm going to agree with you on that. Now,
are we speaking about the version of Derek as 212 or Derek as the open? If he's as the 212, there is no chance he's beating Ian, for example. There is no way he's going to beat that Ian, who's like 264, 265 when he's 212. When Derek is 230, for example, then it's a other ballgame. But by the way, the hat is from Roman Fried's company, so props to Roman.
We gotta jump into the 212. We can go on forever, but the 212 guys at the Tampa Pro, Nigel, we gotta go. 212 and lower yourself a little bit so we can see your Hollywood good looks over there. So the 212 class, Tampa Pro, the champion, and it's important for people to remember. We have to put some respect on the champion. The champion, Carrot Baggio.
Yeah.
Who is prepped now by the coach of George the Bull, Peterson, Justin Miller.
Yep. And
he came out of nowhere last year. Dense, great conditioning, overall very good. He had a second place to Keon Pearson, I believe. Can we say it was a close call, we can say, to Keon Pearson, who was not in the shape as Carrot, but maybe a little bit better shape. Carrot's coming in as the champion. Have anyone seen how he looks now? Have anyone seen the picture how he's looking?
Yeah, I've seen it. And honestly, I was just one of them things where you're strolling by the Instagram and you catch your eye on physique, you go, hold on, go back. What's that? And honestly, man, he looks impressive as hell. He looks really impressive. He's got that vascular, crazy conditioning going. And you know what? Honestly, I think this show is going to be a battle. I think the two of us definitely going to be a battle.
David, say something about Carrot. Are you impressed by his last year's win?
I was looking about the people who are coming to the 212, and we have like seven guys who are going to be really, really close. And Carrot is insane. I have to admit what Samson just said. When you were looking at his picture, you're like, scrolling through the Instagram or something like this, and you see the story, and you're like, whoa, wait for this. And you're looking at this like again and again and again. His muscle bellies are insane. He's just so round. He's popping everywhere. So it is going to be hard to beat.
I'm just gonna say the names. And I'm gonna stop and we're gonna talk about someone. We have Ivan Cabrera from New Jersey, Peter Costello from New York.
He was second in Chicago to Bo Lewis.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Peter was second. He brought his best.
Steely Cruz, Stefan Didoshak, Cody Drobot.
Oh, he's going to be a good one.
Yeah, he's going to be a good one, but I don't think he's there yet.
Talk to us a little bit about his physique.
He's prepped by Neil Hill, and he's really, really complete when you look at him. You know, especially the upper body is enormous, but I don't know if his legs are already there, but he looks really, really good. If he comes built, it is going to be one of the guys, as I said, like 7 guys are there for the top 2 spot, to be honest.
And here comes my guy, Ahmed El Sadani from Egypt. Fantastic shape. Nigel, are you impressed with Ahmed El Sadani?
Oh yeah, I'm impressed with his shape. I'm impressed with his conditioning. I think he could be top 3 possibly. I can see him there.
Samson, are you familiar with Ahmed El Sadani?
And honestly, yeah, I think he's good, but same time, I think, you know, with the names you have on that list, I think he'll be fine for that top 5.
Has he brought the condition, the super crisp condition before, David?
Yeah, he has. He's actually looking like a really enormous classic short guy, you know?
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Mm-hmm.
So it might be his advantage.
That might be a problem for him, though. You know, I saw a couple pictures of him that I thought the same thing. I think he needs to be a little bit fuller. Those pictures were kind of flat, but if he comes in fuller, that won't be a problem. But if he comes in a little flat, he's going to look like he's in classic, shorter classic guy.
Nathan Epler, standout at the Mr. Olympia, came in at 5th place out of nowhere. Well, not out of nowhere because he won his pro show, but Nathan Epler, this is a fantastic addition to the 212 class. Samson, have you seen his physique?
Oh yeah, hostile guy, man. Of course. Well, paying attention. Yes, Nathan Epler is impressive, and you know what? You can't look at a show and have a top 5 Olympian in there and say, baby, come on, man. You have to put him down as one of the favorites to win. You just have to. He looks on point like he always does. He's coming in again better and more improved from last year. And you know what? If it wasn't until they changed the rules this year, he wouldn't have even had to qualify. He would have just been. So for a guy that's already at that level to even be in this show, he should be like, well, it's his show to lose, you know.
Kevin Johnson. Do we know him? Kevin Johnson?
I have seen his fixtures. He has a really, really good frame, you know, but from the back, he still needs to catch up a little. But from the front, he looks, you know, for example, he had this fixture with the front lat spread. It looks really, really, really good.
Jason Joseph, Josh McGovern, and guys, the 212 class, do we know enough about all, like,
We've got so many.
The 212 class, do we know enough about these people, or?
We got a lot. I can see.
They've got a lot of new guys in here, and so it's kind of hard. But you know, if you look at Ricky Moten, for instance,
yeah, we're gonna come to him. Francisco Mercado Jr.
The problem is with these guys that they don't really promote themselves. When I was checking their Instagrams, they had like 2,000 followers or something like this, and we can speak as much as we want, you know, that it doesn't matter. Of course, it doesn't matter on the stage, but when we fans want to see them, we want to see the physiques and so on. We need to see them anyhow promoting themselves, either if it's on a YouTube account or something like this. They have to bring something for us to, you know, see them. And as well, judges, I think, have some kind of, you know, their eye will a little bit turn more to the guy who is a little bit famous or a little bit heard of more than to a guy who, you know, as we said, comes from nowhere, so to speak.
Ricky Moten Jr. He's an exciting talent. Nigel.
Yeah, he's really exciting. I mean, he's full. He poses well. Most of the time, his condition is really good. I've seen a couple of pictures of him, and he looks fantastic. So I would expect for him to be in the top 5.
Samson, have you seen him?
I haven't seen him. I don't have seen him.
David?
Samson, you wanted to add something about promoting yourself.
Because what it is, what I've noticed, obviously with social media and everything else, most bodybuilders, especially when they're new to the scene, they don't realize that as of yet. Because I didn't when I first joined, when I got my profile, I didn't understand the power, the benefit of social media. You come in as a weight head. All you think is, I want to train, I want to bring my best, and I want to show off on that on stage, and let nothing else do the talking about my physique on stage. But it takes a while for you to then start stepping back and saying, oh, actually, I need to sort of have some kind of platform to launch off if I go on stage. And for these guys, I just think that they don't know, they're not aware of it yet. And it takes some time for them to kind of do a few shows and actually go, actually, yeah, I think I need to sort of be out there more and do everything like that. So I think it's just for them, it's just a learning curve for them, because it's like I said, no one told me that. It's something I had to, fail a few times and learn myself. So I think it's just something that they have to learn, and they have to realize, okay, social media, as much as we don't like it to be, but social media does play a big game in bodybuilding. You have to promote yourself on it.
2 of the last names we're going to talk about here. Derek Oslin. We want him to nail it. We want him to nail it. We waited, and we waited. Will it happen at the Tampa Pro?
He took 4th in the Chicago, and he was really, really close to nailing it, but still needs a little bit more nailing to get done.
He's like on. I don't think he's going to nail it. I really don't.
Really?
I mean, there's something about his diet, or maybe he's cheating. I have no idea, but he's never been able to nail it. And you're right, in Chicago, he came really close to nailing it, but it's just not there. So I don't see him nailing it for this show. No.
But anybody know who he's working with?
I don't know who he's working with, Samson. I really don't. But whoever he is working with, he probably needs to change it, because we've been waiting for six years for him to nail that. And he's got a great physique. He really does. I mean, you look at his line and everything, he's got everything that he should have, except his conditioning is so bad that, you can't really give him the nod, at all. You could say, oh, that's a guy, Samson, that he has a very good physique, and you can see the muscle and everything, but he has no conditioning. And so you can't give him the nod over somebody who probably has less, that has great conditioning.
He has some conditioning. We can't be too negative here. He's still pro level conditioning, isn't he?
He's pro level conditioning, but if you look at the 212s, the 212s are known for being insanely conditioned. You can look at the Olympia, you look at any you look at any of the competitions that 212 is in. 212 is always shredded, and for him not to be shredded, that's unusual, and that's why he stands out, because he has great structure, but he doesn't come in 212 shredded at all.
Next guy on the lineup is obviously one of the most interesting names in this show, in this whole show. Pearson is back. He was trolling the fans, saying, I'm going to do classic, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. He came back to the 212. He didn't really announce where he was doing. I don't think he even announced what class he was really doing. He just kind of figured it out. He showed some impressive pictures, as he always does, leading up. And we are here. And Samson, is this a show he has to win?
I mean, he's going to have tough competition, I can tell you that much right now. I mean, come on, the Keon's shape is just godlike. You can't take anything. You look at him hit the front double, and you just think, is there anything more prettier looking like that? It's just wow,
Yeah.
So with someone that is that gifted and just outstanding, it's a case of this show should be easy win, But at the same time, you look at the guys on there, and him. I think he's obviously getting a little bit of conditioning. But then you look at the guys that are there that can get it. It's a case of, okay, how much can you reward just that shape and that flow compared to the guys if they're hard and gnarly and ready to go. So it will be a very interesting competition, and I think it will be a battle. I don't think there's anybody in this lineup that can truly say they're coming in and they're just going to take it. But for those guys up there, that top 3, top 4 spot is going to be a battle to get into.
Top 4 guys. Carrot Bio, do we agree?
Yes.
Yep.
Nathan Epler?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Do we have Amal El Savani in that top 4?
I do.
I do. And then we have Keon Pearson, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do we have Ricky? You also probably have Ricky Moulton in that top 5.
Yeah.
David?
It is going to be really close between the, Ricky, between Cody, Ahmed, and Peter Costella, who took second in Chicago. We can't out someone who already, for example, took Derek out with his insane shape. About the Keon, he's working with Patrick Tour now, and Patrick Tour is known for bringing the people in shape. Even if Patrick or Patrick's athletes had sometimes had the fullness problems, but it never was a problem with the shape and the conditioning. And that's what Keon actually needs. He doesn't need to come any fuller. He has every muscle there is. So Patrick is a great choice for a guy like Keon.
Definitely.
Okay, Samson, who do you have and why?
Was it Cody? I remember seeing him when I was in Toronto earlier this year. And yeah, he impressed me. He genuinely impressed me, because just look at his name, I actually realized who he was. Yeah, he really impressed me. And I think that's another one that is going to be a shock of this show. I've been seeing his progress, and I've been seeing where he's training with Quincy there in Canada.
Yep.
And hopefully, I'm thinking, yeah, he'll be impressive in the show.
He will be. I've seen him we train at the same gym, and he is impressive. He looks really good.
Who do you have winning the show, Samson? Who's your top 3 and who do you have winning?
Man, the win is definitely it's a close one. I'll say between, obviously, Keon, Nathan, Bajo or Karen. Those 3 guys, I think, is going to be a battle with those 3.
I agree with that. That's my top 3 as well. What about you, David?
Yeah, it's the same, but I think it's going to be just between Keon and Nathan. Okay. we can't count Nathan out, as he already has beaten Keon. Even though Keon had some problems with his stomach and so on, he has lost, and that's the fact. Nathan was a top 5 Olympian. So if Keon nails it, then it's going to be really hard to beat. But we can't just say, when we look at the record from the past, we have to see that and acknowledge that Nathan has always came in shape.
Yeah.
Nigel?
I'm going to go with Keon because of the fact that he's working with Patrick Tour. I think that will solve it for him. I think Nathan is impressive, but if I look at Keon's pictures going up to it, and like you said before, he usually has great pictures, and then when he gets on stage, it's a problem. But Patrick to me, he's never had a problem with actually getting someone shredded and conditioned. It's the problem of getting full, with Ian. It's a problem with getting full with Ian. With Keon, it's not a problem of him getting full. It's a problem of him getting conditioned. And I think that was the right choice for him. So I'm going to go Keon all the way. But I think it's going to be tough. I even see Cody as, getting to the top 3. If Karen is slipping a little bit, Cody will get into top 3.
Is there any possibility before we go? Derek Lunsford he's got to do the Open. In the 212, is there any possibility you see Keon taking out Kamal and Clarida at this Olympia? Samson,
No.
You're shaking your head there.
I don't see. I mean, nothing against them, but the guys you're talking about, not only are they established, they're so thickly muscled, and so they've nailed it time and time and time again. This is just another day for them. So for me, I just think for him to be at that level to take those guys out, man, the stars got to be aligned properly.
I agree with you.
if Derek is going to open, then we have to believe, and we all know that Sean is going to come 110%, and it is going to be then almost impossible to beat Sean's conditioning, and Sean comes crisp as Ronnie Coleman. They are already comparing him to a little smaller version of the Ronnie Coleman.
I don't like that comparison, by the way. That's
Why?
Ronnie Coleman is Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah, but it's still, I mean, the smaller version. I'm not saying he's
I know.
Ronnie Coleman. And still, Sean has this advantage that he still can grow as he's like 190. So he has like still 20 pounds to grow.
But can more muscle be on that frame though and look good?
Oh yeah, definitely more. He can put more muscle on that frame. In fact,
chest,
can go to 220 if he wants. That's if he wants. He can put that muscle on that frame. That there's no doubt in my mind about that. And no, I don't think I don't think he's a little Ronnie Coleman. I think that's people do that, but Sean is Sean. Sean's got has a physique that is of his own. And if people are talking about Derek going to open, I think they should also look at the fact that Sean, did it, and he won a pro show. So you put 20 more pounds on Sean, and Sean looks very impressive too. So that it's kind of like apples and oranges. That it's kind of like a what if scenario.
Thank you guys for coming on. It was very interesting to hear your opinion on AJ World's bodybuilding. We like everyone's opinion. I hate those people with the channel just talking about their own opinion all the time. That's not funny at all. We want to hear everyone's opinion. Samson, obviously, one of the best in the world. So his opinion is, we really appreciate Samson when the athletes who are in their prime are giving their opinions, because usually we see people with the biggest social media following or whatever, who's good at computer skills with the biggest opinion. That's not necessarily the right opinion. Mostly it's wrong, but we appreciate you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
David, very much thank you to you, as you great insights. People can follow you at your channel. It's called again
David Czechowicz. So if anyone wants to just go to my Instagram, David,
and Nigel, you can follow him at his Instagram. We will put his name in there. And before we go, quick, Samson, mindset for this Olympia. How are you feeling right now? This is your first ever American Las Vegas Olympia, and you're coming in as not a no-name. You're coming in as one of the guys people expect to see in that top 6. You're 324 now. And what are we thinking 5 months out?
And the only thing I'm thinking about is I want to shock the world, man. And that's it. Come out and shock the world. If I can do that, my job is done. You place me wherever you want to place me. But if I could come out and make everybody stop and take a second look when I walk out and go, whoa, I'm like, yeah, job done. So that's my goal for this Olympia.
And with that, we end it.
Thanks, son.
Everyone, goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.